It's Robert Thain is here from the UK. He's with the UK Foundation on PBC, and he's going to talk to us about a name change.
Okay, I'd like to thank Buck for the introduction. He actually wasn't entirely accurate with his description because I'm going to actually need you to stand for this section. So, if that's at all possible. Okay, I apologise if I don't actually mean stand yet. So sorry, my fault. Okay, in 3, 2, 1 now if we can stand together, please. Okay, as we're standing, please, if you could, I'm going to ask you please to raise your right arm if you've enjoyed today. Okay, lower that. Can you please raise your left arm if you feel it's of benefit to you in managing your PBC? Okay, and if both of those apply to you, can you raise both hands, please? Okay, grab a seat. Thank you. In deference to Buck and his baseball analogy, that's as close as we're going to get to a 7-inning stretch, okay? But I just thought we'd get a wee bit oxygen in our bodies and a wee bit stretching off. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Robert Mitchell-Thain. I'm from the PBC Foundation. I would like to thank the PBCers for this opportunity to speak to you today. I would also like to thank you personally for the welcome that I've received. So thank you very much for that. Okay, so those of you that have not experienced the PBC Foundation before, we are a UK-based charity. We're an international charity. We are nigh on 10,000 members. Our website is visited by 138 countries, and our website includes sections that are specifically for our members. So we'll have video presentations and things like that that are under license, and we also have specific sections for health professionals. We have a quarterly magazine, The Bare Facts, which is posted to 66 countries around the world. We have a 24-hour helpline. We have a Health Unlocked forum. We have a compendium, which is at the back, which you're welcome to have a look at. That's entitled Living with PBC, and we've also got leaflets there. We focus a lot. We go around the UK, and also we're now starting to go into Europe, and we host what we call self-management workshops. And these look at more at the emotional and psychological effects of PBC and how we can manage that as best as we can. So that's something else we do. So that's a little introduction to the foundation itself. So, PBC. We have in the UK a phrase that is common. I don't know if you use it over here. And the phrase is that sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never harm me. And I can tell you that I have witnessed personally myself the harm that can come from a name. My mother was diagnosed with PBC in 1994. She didn't handle the diagnosis particularly well. She went from being a successful investigative accountant to a caftan-wearing recluse. She went through her own grieving process, and then from there she started the foundation, and for many of us life wasn't exactly the same after that. But again, just to give you an insight as to where I've come from and the harm that I've seen from the name PBC. So PBC is the short version. The long version, and this may be familiar to you if you've had a conversation with your physician, where he will say to you, well, we finally know what you have, and you have primary biliary cirrhosis. Except, well, you don't actually have cirrhosis. Was that a conversation that's vaguely familiar? Okay. So the next conversation, which takes PBC from being a long version to the longest name in the world, is when you speak to your friends or your family, or those in your town, your city, and they say, well, I've said I've got something called primary biliary cirrhosis. Except, well, I don't actually have cirrhosis. And no, I don't bloody well drink before you even ask. So, and it becomes that is our experience, because we want to be honest, we want to be open, and we want to tell the facts about this condition. So is cirrhosis really just scarring? Or does the name primary biliary cirrhosis lead to scarring in other ways? So, I don't know how it is over here, but certainly in the UK and Europe, people with PBC will have difficulty in getting life insurance because of the cirrhosis tick box. I know that mortgages are definitely not a problem over here because they don't ask, but again, Europe, UK, it certainly is. Travel insurance, well, yeah, sure, you can get it. You might have to pay a premium, but it's available. Diminished levels of care from health professionals. This can be anything from going in to giving blood. I've experienced this with GPs, I've experienced this with nurses, frontline medical staff who are completely ignorant about primary biliary cirrhosis, and particularly its link or non-link to alcohol. This is something I know has become more of a concern in the US, and this is employers having access to your medical records. So again, somebody who isn't medically qualified can have a look at your records and see that you have cirrhosis of some kind and be able to make their own deductions from that. Stigma, even with family and friends. How many times have you tried to explain to a family member what PBC is, and more importantly, what PBC isn't? And ignorance within the general public. Again, this is all very, very familiar to you. And all of this together leads to active discrimination. So for me, cirrhosis is more than just scarring. So when we host our workshops, and when we go around the UK hosting meetings, we were asked at every event, helpline calls, emails, are you going to change your name? And to my eternal embarrassment, my answer was not in my lifetime. That shows you how much I knew. So we thought we had the mandate, but we wanted to quantify this to make sure. So in May, or in April, we started an online survey. Now I know that many of you taking part in that. Actually, can I show of hands who's taking part? That's fantastic. So the survey is still up there, so please do feel free to go up there. It's a wonderful international response. We had 1,008 responses as of 2205. We're close to 1,200 now. And the analysis is very much consistent with the paper that you've shown. So I'll show you some of the results. So the first question was, are you happy with the name primary biliary cirrhosis? And would you believe it, 81% said yes. No, sorry. Absolutely not. So we were asking why. So what was your experience when you first heard cirrhosis in your diagnosis? And you can see for yourself, 4% were indifferent, 63% were frightened. The other people mentioned scared, confused. So it's very much a negative experience. Now, scientific studies will say that you will forget anywhere between 25 and 80% of a medical consultation as soon as you leave the door. Now, I can guarantee you that the 20% you're going to remember will include the word cirrhosis, yeah? Okay. Shock, stun, horror. If you could, would you change the name primary biliary cirrhosis? 87% have said yes, they would. That's a clear mandate. So, the initial reaction to the survey was, firstly, keep the initials. Okay, there's only 22% of respondents who have said that the initials are not important to them. Importantly, only 15% of health professionals feel that the initials are not important. So let's keep the initials. Let's keep the PBC. Branding is important. Okay? We have the PBC Foundation. We have PBCers in Australia, UK. There's an American organisation, you may not have heard of those. The PBC Society in Canada, and there's a big medical consortium which is the UK PBC, which is a research project which has about £6 million in funding. So again, it's reinforcing that we need the initials. And if you are aware of COH, going to autoimmune hepatitis and the difficulties that they faced and the timescales that it took to change their name, and because you changed the initials, that was part of the difficulty that they faced. So everything results in the need to keep the initials PBC. So the next question we asked, question 4, would you be happy if PBC stood for primary biliary cholangitis? And 58% said yes. Primary biliary cholestasis, 57% said yes. If there was an initiative to change the name, primary biliary cirrhosis to biliary cholangitis, would you support it? And again, 80% said yes. Now, interestingly, when we split the survey down into our 3 demographics, we had the patients, who were 80%, the advocates and the health professionals, the advocates were 81%, and the health professionals were actually at 82%. Now, it may shock you to realise that if you look, and I'm not sure what I'm doing here, there you go, if you look there, that's who was neutral. And it might not surprise you to see that there were less health professionals of a neutral frame of mind than anyone else. But anyway, moving on. So, but you can see again how much support there is for the name change to primary biliary cholangitis. So, this is what the survey said. The support for primary biliary cirrhosis was 5.6%, cholangitis 57.9%, cholestasis 57.2%. Would you support the change to cholangitis? 80%. So we, as an organisation who held the survey, well, what are we saying? Primary biliary, cholangitis, cholestasis, call it what you like, as long as it's not cirrhosis, good enough for us. So, preserve the initials PBC, and we're asking the medical professionals now to accept imperfection. I've been told by greater minds than mine that biliary cholangitis is the only kind of cholangitis you can get. So it's like being expectingly pregnant. So it's not perfect, but when you bear in mind that primary biliary cirrhosis is 80 to 85% inaccurate, then the bar isn't raised particularly high, is it now? So this has been a truly international initiative. We have words of support from Tatiana Reich, who's the president of ELPA, that's the European Liver Patients Association, and we have words of support from Inge van Thiel from the German Liver Association. Now, I'm not sure if you can make this out, but this is the 21st century phenomenon called the word cloud. So we took the answers, we asked, where in the world are you? And then the more frequently an answer occurred, the bigger it is within the diagram. So we have England. Those of you that know England fairly well will not be surprised to find out that somewhere in there is Yorkshire. Why people think that they're in Yorkshire, the world, and not England, I have no idea. But you'll notice we have Scotland, we have Germany, Florida, Texas, y'all, Canada, Ireland, California. So lots and lots of people from all around the world are taking part in this. And I think that's really, really important. Because it gives us a diverse support, it gives us a worldwide support, and it tells the medics how strong the mandate is right now to change a name. So PBC name changes, they've failed in the past, and here is the main reason why. There's an initiative. Right, I know, we're going to change the name primary biliary cirrhosis. Well, that's great. What we'll do, we'll call it autoimmune random, whatever it is. And then the medics would discuss it for a while and think, well, actually, no. What we should have is anti-consensus facilitating autoimmune secure mygloriosis. And then the medics talk and argue, and nothing ever happens. So where are we now? Where do we go from here? What we know is that EASL has 2 councils. We have a council of 9 and a council of 7 which do the reviews. We know that those councils are discussing 3 ideas: primary biliary cholangitis, primary biliary cholestasis, or primary biliary cholangiopathy. Those are the 3 options on the table, and all 3 options support the initials PBC. I'm not in a place, I'm not able to make any announcements, I'm not able to give you any definite news. However, I have heard that there is a recommendation that is going to EASL's Board of Governors. It is coming through very, very shortly, and then from there, we believe it goes to ASLD next. So hopefully, that's where we're going. So ladies and gents, I'd just like to thank you for your attention. Thank you for the time for allowing me to speak here. I'd like to, a couple of announcements. Just PBC's organisation, I'd like to say a big thank you to Inge van Thiel, who's helped put this together and the supported initiative at every juncture. Buck, I've no idea if we've got time to take questions or not. Hallway. In the hallway. So I'm here all, the whole event. Please, if you have any questions either about the name change initiative or about the foundation, then please do come and get me through the event. There's one question. Just one. Come and get me.
Could you put the Survey Monkey address back up?
There you go. There you go. Okay, thank you very much.
Terrific. Thank you, Robert. Thanks for keeping